Mr. President, a lot has happened since we last met. There was, for instance, our election victory in June. They tell me that it makes 3 wins in a row. Just like Lord Liverpool, and he was Prime Minister for 15 years. It's rather encouraging. And of course, what you'll really want to know is whether I'm Janet Brown or not. Mr. President, 12 years ago, I first stood on this platform as leader of the Conservative Party. Now, 1 or 2 things have changed since 1975. In that year, we were still groaning under Labour's so-called social contract. People said we should never be able to govern again. Remember how we'd all been lectured about political impossibility. You couldn't be a Conservative and sound like a Conservative and win an election, they said. And you certainly couldn't win an election and then act like a Conservative and win another election. And this was absolutely beyond dispute. You couldn't win 2 elections and go on behaving like a Conservative and yet win a 3rd election. Mr. President, our entry into the ERM has been warmly welcomed by our community partners. But as John Major made absolutely clear yesterday, this government has no intention of agreeing to the imposition of a single currency. That would be entering a federal Europe through the back door. Never prophesy, especially about the future. Nevertheless, never mind, it's wet outside. I expect they want it to come in. You can't blame them. It's always better where the Tories are. Right up to the 11th of June, the Labour Party, the Liberals and the SDP were busy saying that Conservatism doesn't work. Oddly enough, since the 12th of June, they've been saying that it does. The United States is our friend, our ally, and our time-honored partner in peace and war. The history and the destiny of our countries have been and always will be inextricably intertwined. Our friendship goes back a very long way. We are, after all, among the very few countries in the world whose constitutions and national identities have remained intact over 2 centuries. I hope you won't mind, Mr. President, my recalling that George Washington was a British subject until well after his 40th birthday. I've been told, to my surprise, that he does not have a place in the British Dictionary of National Biography. I suppose the editors must have regarded him as a late developer. I confess to you that in some ways my visit got off to a shaky start, because I was told on arrival at Andrews Field that I had interrupted your Secretary of State, Mr. Vance, in one of his few moments of relaxation. He was watching the Redskins playing the Cowboys. He had to take his eye off the game to greet me. I'm very grateful, but I don't think the Redskins can have been very grateful to me, because it was no doubt as a result of this diversion of Mr. Vance's attention that the Redskins lost the game. I do apologize for having intervened in your internal affairs. Then I heard voices getting all worked up about someone they kept calling the Prime Minister in waiting. It occurs to me, Mr. President, that he might have quite a weight. I can see him now, like the people queuing up for the winter sales. All got up with his camp bed, hot thermos, woolly balaclava, CND badge, waiting, waiting, waiting. And when the doors open, in he rushes, only to find that, as always, there's that woman ahead of him again. I gather there may be an adjective between that and woman, only no one will tell me what it is.